So if you're not flossing daily, brushing your teeth properly, and using mouthwash, you might be at risk of getting cavities. So in this video, we're going to talk about how long it takes for decay to start after you eat something sugary, and what are some steps you can take to reverse the process and prevent a cavity from forming. As a dentist, I see tons of patients every day with tooth decay, cavities, gum disease, and other dental problems. And in this series, I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to reverse these problems so you can avoid things like extractions, root canals, and all the pain and suffering that goes along with it. First thing we need to understand is what is tooth decay and what causes it. Well, tooth decay happens when there is an overgrowth of bacteria in your mouth that creates acid. This acid then demineralizes or softens the surface of your tooth, which is called enamel. This then allows bacteria to penetrate into the tooth, causing a cavity or an infection. You may have heard that eating too much sugar will cause cavities, and that's true, but only partially true. The real culprit is the bacteria in your mouth that feeds on the sugar. But without those bacteria, sugar wouldn't cause any problems. Also, you may think that soft drinks and candy are the worst things for your teeth, but this isn't quite right either. The truth is that any food that is easy to eat and contains carbohydrates can potentially stick to your teeth and feed the bacteria, causing decay. This includes bread, pasta, milk, crackers, cereal, biscuits, muffins, soda, and juice, just to name a few. This is because these foods break down into small particles that are easy for bacteria to digest. Even though they don't contain sugar, they still feed the bacteria and cause decay. I remember growing up and having a big sweet tooth. I would constantly be consuming things like Skittles, M&Ms, Snickers bars, and other types of candy throughout the day. However, my dentist never gave me a filling, and my teeth were always perfect when I visited him. That was until I turned 18 years old and joined the US Navy. I had braces, which included bands on several of my teeth. One day I woke up with one of my bands off. I went to the dentist and he put the band back on and said, "Hey doc, I haven't brushed today." He says, "No worries, just brush tomorrow and you'll be good to go." I thought to myself, this guy doesn't know me. No way I'm brushing my teeth. So I didn't brush or floss for several weeks. Well, during that time, I started getting these horrible pains in my teeth and even more horrible cavities. And within 6 months, I had 12 cavities, and my dentist had to fill all 12 of them, had to get Novocaine shots and everything. It was the most miserable experience ever. My point is that I used to have perfect teeth, but once I stopped taking care of my teeth, the decay just piled on and got worse and worse. This is how it works. The bacteria in your mouth continuously produces acid and tests the enamel of your teeth every 20 minutes. If the pH in your mouth is below 5.5, then the enamel will demineralize and soften. Once the enamel is gone, the bacteria can penetrate into the dentin and the pulp of the tooth and cause an abscess or an infection. This whole process can happen very quickly. In fact, it can occur in as little as 4 hours after eating a sugary snack. But thankfully, there are several things that you can do to reverse this process and save your tooth. First, let's talk about what happens immediately after eating. Right after you consume a sugary snack, bacteria in your mouth begins producing acid and attacking your enamel. Within 20 minutes, your saliva will begin to neutralize the acid and protect your teeth. So within the first 20 minutes, you want to do something that will stimulate saliva production. This can include chewing sugarless gum, sipping water, or sucking on hard candy. Anything that stimulates saliva production will help neutralize the acid in your mouth and protect your teeth. For the next 2 hours, the bacteria continues to produce acid and attack the enamel, but the saliva continues to neutralize the acid and protect your teeth. At the 2-hour mark, you want to brush your teeth with a fluoride toothpaste. Brushing with fluoride toothpaste will help remineralize and strengthen your enamel. At the 4-hour mark, the acid production has decreased significantly. This is when you want to floss. Flossing will remove any food particles between your teeth that the bacteria could use to make more acid. After you floss, make sure to chew sugarless gum, drink water, or suck on hard candy to stimulate saliva production. At the 8-hour mark, the acid attack is almost over, but the bacteria is still active. This is when you want to use a mouthwash that contains antibacterial and anti-acid properties. Using mouthwash will kill any remaining bacteria and neutralize any remaining acid in your mouth. After 24 hours, the acid attack should be completely finished and your teeth should be protected. You can still do things to reduce the amount of bacteria and acid in your mouth, such as using mouthwash, chewing gum, drinking water, and flossing. But at this point, it's very unlikely that you'll get a cavity unless you wait another 24 hours and do nothing. If you want to drastically reduce your chances of getting a cavity, I recommend following this protocol anytime you eat a sugary snack. And here are some quick tips to help you remember. First, immediately after eating, chew a piece of sugarless gum, sip water or suck on a piece of hard candy to stimulate saliva production. Then wait 2 hours and brush your teeth with a fluoride toothpaste. Wait another 2 hours and floss your teeth. Then wait another 4 hours and use a mouthwash that contains antibacterial and anti-acid properties. Finally, wait 24 hours and repeat the process. Now here are some important notes about this protocol. First, it's not recommended that you brush your teeth immediately after eating. This can actually damage the enamel and make cavities worse. Instead, you want to wait at least 30 minutes after eating before brushing your teeth. Second, it's important that you use a fluoride toothpaste when brushing your teeth. Fluoride helps strengthen the enamel and make your teeth more resistant to cavities. Third, you should floss with waxed dental floss. Unwaxed dental floss can be too rough on your teeth and gums and can actually cause more decay. Fourth, the mouthwash that you use should contain both antibacterial and anti-acid properties. These will help kill the bacteria in your mouth and neutralize any acid that's left over after you eat. Fifth, if you're wearing braces or have other dental work, you may need to adjust this protocol slightly. For example, you may need to wait longer after eating before brushing or flossing. Also, just a quick word about dental sealants. Dental sealants are thin coatings that are applied to the chewing surfaces of your teeth. They help prevent decay by providing a barrier between your teeth and the bacteria in your mouth. Sealants are typically only placed on teeth that are at high risk for decay, such as the molars. If you have sealants on your teeth, you do not need to floss the teeth that have sealants. However, you should still brush and use mouthwash as usual. In my next video, I'm going to teach you how to diagnose if you have a cavity, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Until next time, stay strong.